Theros Beyond Death releases this weekend, and it is time to play some Limited, some Draft, and some Sealed. Jake and I have done a lot of it on Arena, and we want to talk about the top commons that you should be looking for in Theros Beyond Death Limited.
And the video starts right now. Hello and welcome to the day.
Thank you for spending your time with us.
I'm Jake.
I'm Joel. Welcome back to another episode of Jake and Joel Are Magic. We're going to talk about commons in Theros Beyond Death, but first, if it's your first time watching a video with us, we really appreciate it. If you want to stay up to the second with the latest decks and strategy for Pioneer, Historic, Commander, Standard, Brawl, Limited, you want to talk about MTG Finance, news and specs, or you just want to see us open some booster packs, make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave.
That's right. There are 225,623 miles from the Earth to the Moon. The only thing that there are more of are Magic the Gathering creators. Thank you so much. If you think we're exceptional, please go ahead and click subscribe.
Let's get all the way to the moon and talk about commons in Theros Beyond Death. Jake, Mire's Grasp is essentially it's a lightning bolt for 2 mana. We got -3/-3 that'll stay on a creature for 1 black and 1 other, and it triggers all your enchantment synergies in the set.
That's right. The card is really good. Enchantments are big in this set. If you aren't familiar with original Theros, enchantments are like the whole idea here. We get powerful enchantment gods, and we get powerful enchantments on common. This isn't like a lightning bolt in that it's not instant speed, but it is really, really good for a multitude of reasons. It's gonna pretty much hit a lot of 3-butts, but then it will get like, say, a 5/5 or a 6/6 is now going to be in range to be blocked by something smaller, which is another good thing about this card.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is it brings a 5/5 down to a 2/2, which is pretty dope. It triggers all of the aura, enchantment, constellation type effects that are in this set. This is just one of the top removals I think that you can pull at common. Iroa's Blessing is another kind of removal. 1 red, 3 other for 4 damage to a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls when it ETBs, and it leaves behind an enchantment aura to trigger anything you've got going synergistically, and +1/+1 on whatever creature it lands.
Sure, and there's some really cool cards, some commons that say whenever you cast a spell that targets this creature, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So this is an excellent spell to beef up that creature, give a buff to all your dudes, and remove something that might be problematic on your opponent's side.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Plus the art is just dope. They're like knocking over a giant there with one little push, and it's like an enchantment knight. That's pretty cool. Omen of the Hunt. How about some mana fixing mana ramp at flash speed on an enchantment to trigger all your stuff?
Yeah, so you don't untap. Turn 3, pass the turn. End of your opponent's turn, you're casting this, you're ramping. Next turn, you're playing a turn 5 cost. Or late game, you play this, filter through your deck, and then all of a sudden, before your draw step, scry away, baby.
Yeah, I really like that it puts it directly onto the battlefield tapped instead of just searching it up and putting it in your hand. It is fixing for a set that doesn't have a ton of it, but has some very splashable cards, some very splashable creatures, and so this is the kind of card that if you get this in multiples, which is possible at common, you can think about that third color pretty hard.
Oh yeah, easily. In a limited environment, this is the exact card that you need. At my pre-release, I did a green-white deck with a black splash because I had so many good black removal spells that I didn't want to just let them fall to the wayside. So I ran 2 of the Caryatids that just add 1 mana of any color, and I ran 2 of these, and I never had mana problems all day. I just ran a Selesnya deck with a black splash for 4 black removal spells, and I had a great time.
Yeah, Omen of the Hunt is the kind of thing that can get you there.
Oh, also, and we should say from a constructed standpoint, that card alongside Growth Spiral, you're going to do some serious ramp.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look at this Voracious Typhon. This creature gave me more hell at pre-release weekend than I think most creatures did, even some of the mythics. This creature comes in as a 4/4 for 4, and then it escapes, comes back if you can remove it as a 7/7.
And there's something to be said about when you see it and you know that your opponent has it, and now you're all of a sudden playing around this future 7/7 that isn't even really on the board yet.
Right.
there's just something about it. It's like you almost don't want to remove it because you don't want it to come back bigger if you don't have the removal for it. So it's a very confounding card, and yeah, I agree with you. It's very strong, and I think it's going to be the kind of thing that, as this set is drafted more and more, the decks that are running Voracious Typhon are going to be the ones that rise to the top.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Revoke Existence. I mean,
best removal in the set.
Exactly. What can be said about exile target artifact or enchantment for 2 mana in a set where half the creatures, it feels like, are enchantment creatures, and you've got gods that have to be exiled or they're going to be on the battlefield for the entire match.
Yeah, and you're doing it all for 2 mana.
Right.
One white, one other. I wish we had an official count of how many enchantment creatures exist, but there are an epic crap ton of them, and being able to remove them for 2 mana, exile them, take them out of the game, like, some of these enchantment creatures have escape on them. So being able to exile it is so huge, and the fact that this is common, you might look at it and just, because you're a good Magic player, you might just think, oh, this is a sideboard card, we can pass on this, we can pick it up later. But if you are in white, just run it. Just freaking run it. It's better than anything else that you're gonna come across. As far as mana efficiency, as far as versatility, like, it's getting rid of Shadow Spear, which is really annoying. It's hitting all of these Nyx Lotus. It hits so much. The range is large.
Yes, absolutely. This is a set where you really want to consider main decking this. Honestly, I wouldn't even say consider. I would say main deck.
Just do it.
If you have one of these and it's in your colors, main deck 1, consider main decking a second.
Bro, I would say if you're in red-white, keep all your damage spells for the stuff that isn't enchantments, and then run as many of these as you possibly can, because the enchantment creatures are very good.
Oh yeah.
Nightmare Shepherd, I mean, there's tons of them.
Yeah.
They're all over the place.
100%.
Yeah, it's an excellent card.
Yeah, I'm with you. Brine Giant is a 5/6 that hopefully you're casting for 4. If you can get 3 enchantments on the battlefield by the time you hit turn 4, turn 5, play a 5/6 for 4, that's a pretty good return.
Yeah, and in some decks, you might even get to play this for 1 or 2. There's no telling. This card, we just talked about Revoke Existence, but the inclusion of this card from a limited perspective should be a good indicator of how many enchantments are in here. This card exists because it's an enchantment-based set, and from a design standpoint, they want you to be able to play this for cheap. That way you could go, whoa, I played a 5/6 for 3, or whatever. So, yeah, this is another indicator, like, enchantments are the way to go. That's what Theros is.
Mm-hmm.
It's big stuff that's easy to remove. That's honestly the best way to say it. It's a lot of big stuff.
Yeah, big splashy stuff.
Big splashy stuff that's easy to remove. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. We got Thirst for Meaning here. I mean, this card has been a house and constructed. This card is running around in a lot of the control decks right now. But digging 3 down, your floor being dig down 3, discard 2, or build it so that you can discard an enchantment that you don't need anymore. One of those Flash Omens or Birth of Meletis or something that maybe it's too late in the game. You just want to draw down 3, discard 2 at instant speed. This card is just so good to me.
Yeah, it's really good. We always talk about this on the channel, the big V, man, velocity, and value. I mean, drawing
and versatility.
Cards, and versatility. The whole idea with Magic is you want, especially in limited, you want to be able to have resources in hand. You need to be the player that constantly keeps their hand full, so that as your opponent expends all of their resources, you still have a handful of cards. And this is the kind of card that you want to play in order to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it at EOT, draw up 3, discard 2, or discard an enchantment.
Dude, instant speed draw is just freaking huge.
Lastly, we've got Daybreak Chimera. I mean, the floor of this card is that you get a flying 3/3 for 5. At common, that's not a horrible return in limited. It's very easy to cast this as a 3/3 for 3, I think is my main point with this creature.
Yeah, I was talking about my sealed pool, and I was in green-white with the black splash. I had 3 of these in my pool, and at first glance I was like, I don't know if I'm going to run these, but then I was like, wait a minute, am I crazy? These are 3/3s for 3. If you build the direct deck correctly, yeah, I just had, evasion is a big thing in limited formats. There are a lot of times where you're going to get to a clogged out board state, and the person with the dinky flyer that's able to just like get through, that's going to be the person that wins the game a lot of the time. So having these that are out of range of everything on the ground, it's a really, really good card. And from a perspective of like old time Magic, a 3/3 flyer for 3 would have come with like huge downside. If it were, if it came out like years ago, people would be like, "Whoa, you don't even get to cast white spells if you have that on the field."
Yeah, it's interesting to me that you can play a 1-drop white creature or enchantment, a 2-drop white creature or enchantment, and then on turn 3 you're ready to smash this as long as neither of those things were removed. And so you can just land that flying 3/3 on turn 3, and that can be huge. Like you said, it'll poke at you forever.
It's so good.
Right.
It's so good. Like, when would you not run a 3/3 flyer for 3?
You know, it is noticeable as we get back around to the beginning, it is noticeable that that creature gets hit by a card like Mire's Grasp. I'm sure that was part of the design of this set and part of the design of that card. But that brings us to the end of our Commons talk for Limited. We want you to tell us which ones we missed as you play Draft and Sealed this weekend and going forward. Tell us which commons we need to include. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video with some of our best community turned in commons and uncommons so that we can really fill out this list.
That's everything that we need. Let us know.
Yeah, we appreciate you watching. Like we said, if you wouldn't mind hitting subscribe, it really helps us out. If you want to support us further, we got a Patreon. The link is down in the description below. And if you want to hang out, we're streaming most Tuesday and Thursday evenings over on Twitch. Search us up. Jake and Joel are magic. Jake, I'm tapped out.
I hate that once I start doing eyebrow stuff, I can't really stop.
Yeah, that's it. You got an eyebrow until the end. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
What do I do with my face after that?
Who knows?